Happy Friday, everybody. Excited to be with you and happy almost weekend. Um, we are back. I'm back in here talking about, these little mini classes I'm doing on how to manage a business, start a business. Can we start a practice in the middle of the pandemic? Can we take our practice and go forward with it? So this is another little tip that I want to talk about today. And it's basically like, maybe about self-sabotage and how we get in our own way. Because a big part of being successful in business is learning how to get out of your own way, maybe the hardest part. But if have you ever been in that situation in your business where you know what to do for your business, but you just can't make yourself do it because you're feeling resistance about it? Maybe you're moving forward in your business seems too overwhelming and scary, right? We have this thing where we want to be seen, but it's also scary to be seen, especially when we're coming out of the closets as healers. We're showing a sort of vulnerable part of ourselves. When you say you're a healer, when you say you're a psychic, we can meet inner resistance around those things, right? And I've studied with some of the best business coaches in the world who have told me what to do and been really great and accurate about it. And when I was younger, I didn't know how to manage my inner saboteur. I didn't know how to do that. So I would just constantly, I couldn't make myself do what I needed to do, right? Maybe that's a familiar feeling for you. Like we set a business goal, we get all excited about it. It feels right. We're amped, we're pumped. We're like, rah, we're ready to go. And then we hit a wall. We start feeling nervous and resistance and scared. And suddenly we're binge watching TV shows or cleaning out your sock drawer or getting sucked into some other kind of project, or maybe getting sucked into somebody else's drama, chaos, right? And then next thing you know, you're derailed, you're off track. You don't know what happened to your business project, and you're sort of lost again, right? Those are all sabotaging behaviors. And until we learn how to manage our inner self, and especially the sort of dynamic between the inner child and the saboteur, we can really be at the mercy of these self-sabotaging things, even if we have the best business plan in the world, right? And it's really important. And I think in the way that I do business development is really in a deep combination with inner work, because we have to at some point address our inner self. And the answer is the inner child, by the way. That's the sort of, where we've got to work. And I learned inner child work like 10 or 15 years ago. And once I learned how to work with the inner child, how to calm her, how to deal directly with the saboteur, my whole business took off in a different way. And I teach that sort of that psychological work, the inner work, as part of, and I do actually a whole class on this, a whole 3-month class on inner child as part of my Psychic Healer Academy, because I think it's that critical. But also we do a bit of it in the business development because it impacts our business in such a profound way, okay? And here is sort of how. So your inner child is one of the most important parts of you, one of the most powerful parts of you. And the light side of your inner child is that it's the joyful, alive, fun, spontaneous, soulful part of you that loves life and plays and has fun and feels joy in being alive. And the shadow side of the inner child is that it holds the unprocessed childhood wounding that we have, which Shazam, right? There's a lot of stuff in there that most of us have to deal with continually, that we may have to unpack quite a lot of that as part of our own healing process. And even once we've unpacked it, we have to learn how to manage the inner child on a daily basis. I still do it. I do it all the time. I do it every day for half an hour to an hour in the morning before I get started, before I start working on my business. I am working on this part of myself. So when we're not consciously working with the inner child and the saboteur, the inner child especially is calling the shots from your subconscious and affecting all the parts of your life, but especially your business, right? Now, the thing about the inner child, when the nature of the childlike part of us is that it doesn't really like change. Things that are new and scary are hard for that. The unknown, change is hard for that. So the inner child often wants to stay on the comfy couch, wearing sweatpants, watching your favorite old TV shows, reruns of them usually, and drinking a glass of wine, having a pint of Ben and Jerry's, right? And the inner child wants no part of big, scary things that you are asking yourself to do, especially when it comes to putting yourself out in the world, being seen, and all that kind of things, right? So all this business stuff, all these goal settings, all these things scare the crap out of your inner child, right? Either that or they activate your inner critic. So then what's going on is your inner critic is wailing on you and telling you you're not good enough. So the inner child is like, oh, I'm not good enough. And the inner critic's like, I know, I keep telling you you're not good enough, right? And that we all have to learn how to deal with this dynamic so we can move forward and step into our lives in a dynamic way. And your inner child might be like, when you're thinking about business and putting yourself out in the world, as we say, what if people hate on me? It's this mean, scary world out there. What if people laugh at me? What if people reject me? What if people are mean to me on Facebook? What if my parents and my siblings find out what I'm doing? What if I fail? What if I succeed? Wow. It's enough to give your inner child a panic attack, right? All of those things. And then what happens is if the inner child gets too panicky, too scared, and the inner critic gets too mean, your saboteur will step in to save the day. And now the saboteur is a super powerful archetype that we have. And its job is, on the light side, is to recognize the moments of power that come in your life. And the power moments, which is like when the publisher says, would you like to write a book? Or when somebody calls and says, would you be on my podcast or TV show? Or here's the cheap rent at the office space you would really like to have. We have these power moments, right, that come through us. And the saboteur understands that that's the power moment and jumps on that. Yes, I'm going to do that. Yes, the light side of the saboteur is a yes to those things. The shadow side of the saboteur is a no to those things, and either a direct no or a sneaky sideways no, right? The no takes you off the hot seat, off the moment of change in the moment of power to protect the child from having to do those big scary things, right? And what we need to do in our business and in our life is to learn to deal with these parts directly and heal them up, identify them, bring them out of our subconscious and into our conscious mind so that we are living in the light side of them. And I have to do this every day, right? As I'm telling you, everything that I do scares the crap out of my inner child. You can look at my to-do list today, and if I let my inner child run things, none of it's going to happen. When we're in the flow of our own soul, when we're doing our soul's work, when we're living our life purpose, we get to stay in the comfort zone for like 5 minutes, right? Your soul knows there's nothing good for you in your comfort zone. Your soul has its foot in your bum and pushing you out the door to push you onto the next thing that you've got to be doing, onto that at the edge of where you are in your personal growth, your spiritual growth, your business development too. And unless we're fully consciously supporting the inner child will just nix that because it's so scary, right? And I mean, it happens for me like on the daily, pretty much. And all the forward movement that I've done in my business has scared the crap out of me every single time. Okay. So publishing my book, the first book I did in 2015, it was one of the hardest things I ever did. Writing a book proposal scared the crap out of me. Sending it to an agent scared the crap out of me. Having the agent accept it scared the crap out of me. Then I got a book deal. And after that, yay, there's oh my God, what have I done? And then the entire process of publishing that and marketing it. So I was on, I think one of the scariest things I ever did, I was on Coast to Coast Radio. And I think they've got like 4 million listeners, or I don't know, it's crazy, right? Coast to Coast. And I was literally breathing into a paper bag and sweating and I was at the edge of actually thought I was going to have a heart attack, but I was able to talk to my inner child and be like, we've got this. I've got this. I've got you. We're going to kick this out of the park, and I'm going to hold your hand. And then when it's over, we're going to do something fun and yummy for you. So then I don't know, I'm like, whatever I'm doing, I've got 5 minutes in my comfort zone before I'm doing the next thing that scares the crap out of my inner child. So that's the way we roll. That's the way. And I'm telling you, everyone that you're seeing who's doing what you want to do, everyone, all the celebrities, all the spiritual teachers, all the people who are whatever you're admiring, they're it never stops being scary for them. Never. Whatever their next thing is forcing them into this. And I think the people that are successful and can keep going through that are the people that really understand how to do this inner work, how to hold on to your, I do it all every day, like I told you, holding on to myself, talking to my inner child, comforting her, negotiating with her. I tend to do my hard stuff in the morning, my worky stuff. I have my grown-up self show up and do the things that I need to do. Have the inner child playing somewhere else. And in the afternoon, it's fun time for her to come out and play and do the things she likes to do to find and balance my life in that certain way, right? This is what I want to teach you how to do, especially in the business class. In the business class, we set a goal to move you forward in your business, a goal that you love, that you're going to get excited about, that you feel good about. And when you're going to feel good about it for a couple of days, and then when it gets real, the resistance is going to come up, whatever that is. It could be your inner child, could be your critic, could be the saboteur. We're going to work on that. We're going to work through it. We're going to identify it. We're going to heal it, deal directly with your resistance so that you can move forward and repeat. Then we set another goal, more resistance comes up, we work through that, to really do this parts work. How does your inner child feel? What's happening with your saboteur? What's going on with these other parts of you that are in resistance? And then we heal that and work and move on to the next thing, right? And it's a unique method as far as I know, that I'm one of the few people that's doing business this way. I don't know any other way that can work, because you could spend $1 bazillion, and I know people who have done this on the best business coach in the world, but if they're not helping you do the side of it, we might come up with a plan that we actually too conflicted about on the inside to execute, right? So here's a little bit of homework you can do right now, is write down all of the things you do as sabotaging behaviors. So maybe you leave your body and dissociate. Maybe you have a panic attack. Maybe you go into a fantasy world. You just have to reread the Outlander series for the 18th time instead of doing that big scary work project, right? Maybe, because pretty much every time you feel anxiety, it's your inner child. Chances are good, all right? Maybe you sabotage yourself by suddenly having to take care of other people. Oh, I've got to do such and such for so-and-so. You join that extra church committee, or you volunteer, or you do something, right? You overgive to other people, so you have no time to do your own stuff, right? Maybe you get sucked into other people's drama and chaos. That's sort of something that happens to me. Maybe you create your own drama and chaos, so you now have something to put your attention on instead of the big scary business project. And I think I've done it. I've done that too. I think I'll get a puppy right in the middle of a giant book deadline. That's a good idea, right? Maybe you stall and procrastinate. Maybe you can't put something out into the world until it's perfect, and it never is, so you never do it, okay? And we need to know what our sabotaging bag of tricks is, so that when you start feeling the impulse to do that, that I'm like, oh gosh, I'm cleaning out my sock drawer instead. I've decided I have to clean my basement, or train to run a marathon. Not that any of those things are bad. They can be good, but we need to be aware of what our bag of tricks are when we feel threatened, when we feel nervous, about that being seen, being successful, or failing, whatever it is that's going on inside of you, so that that you've got to get hip to what your bag of tricks are around this, so you can decide whether or not that's what you're going to really do. Now we go fully into this in the business class, where we also learn how to deal with the prostitute part of us, which is the part of you that everyone has these parts, that will sell yourself short, doesn't understand your real value, overgives and over delivers because you don't really feel worthy. And the victim part of us that just feels overwhelmed and done to. And we also work with the critic, which is the part of you that's so mean to you all the time and is getting in your way. We have to understand these fundamental things so that we can actually do what we came here to do, and deal directly with the inner child in a loving way, where we're going to just love up on that part of us and support her directly, consciously, upfront, so we can move forward in our business. So the other part of your homework is that I want you to think about seeing if you can notice that when your inner child comes up. It might be anxiety that gives you, that's what it is for me. If I'm feeling anxious, I can be pretty sure that's the part of me that's present. And so see if you can notice this procrastinating, saboteuring kind of thing and inner child, become aware of that. And also write a list of all the things you know your inner child likes to do, to play, because play is one of the best ways we can heal the inner child and work directly with her. So her or him. So what is your inner child like for play? And we sometimes forget, like we're like, play, like we scratch our heads like, what? It's like what kids do. I'm pretty sure I've grown out of that, but it's a vital part of living in the light side of that archetype. So what's playful for you, and what can you do? It's Friday, like it's the weekend. What can you do something this weekend that is going to feed the play, the need for play inside your inner child? Okay, so Monday we will be back here at noon to talk about how to add intuition and psychic into and the psychic hits you're getting into your Reiki or other forms of energy work you're doing, so you can give more to your clients. And by the way, clients love when you do that. And it's a really amazing way to add value, to add sparkle, to attract clients in, is if you can really figure out how to add your psychic and intuitive information in your, into your client sessions, whatever, if you're doing energy work. So, and it's not always easy. There's some things we got to know. There's some ethics around it too that we have to understand. So we're going to talk about that on Monday. And I look forward to speaking with you then. And I hope you have a really great weekend full of go blow some bubbles, go play on the beach. I know it's hard during this pandemic to always play the way we want to play, but I really encourage you to spend some time this weekend figuring out how to do that for yourself. And I will see you guys on Monday. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Bye.